Good morning. Today is April 21st. Is that right? Apparently it's the Queen's birthday. 90 today. Rock on. And China passed away today from WWEF. I remember China back in the day. Come on now. Yes, 21st. Today I'd like to talk about support groups. I go to one in my town, and when I got to that point, it was just because I didn't know what the hell to do, or the Queen, hi, didn't know what the hell to do or how to do it. Knew I couldn't do it by myself. I wanted to get as much information as possible to be able to help my child. So I looked up, I Googled. You can Bing, you can do whatever search engine makes you happy. But I Googled trans parent support group in my town. And what came up was a group in the city. I'm in the outskirts of my town. And so there was a contact phone number, and I called it. And my leader of the group, my facilitator, called me. And what's really great about what they do is she was checking me out first. She was basically putting me through an interview process to weed out anybody that might be harmful to the group, or you know, whatever her screening process is, to make sure that I would be an asset, to make sure that it was, you know, positive and all that, which I think that's awesome. So she interviewed me, and I interviewed her, and ended up bawling in the middle of it. At the time, one of the things, and it's one of the things you guys will deal with as well, is the mourning the loss of my daughter. And I talked about this, I think, in my first video. It was the loss of just my expectations for my daughter. But as I started, like, I have a group tonight, and I've only gone since before Christmas. I want to say this will be my 6th time, maybe. And in that time, just hearing the other parents and hearing how everybody else's experiences not only played out, but, like, you know, the light at the end of the tunnel, the rainbow that you're trying to catch, because, you know, all we're trying to do is get our kids through and get them so that they'll be okay. And my first meeting I went to, I ended up, actually the first 2 meetings afterwards, I ended up with a migraine. And it was only because of nerves. I'm an outgoing person. I'm a hairdresser by trade, so I can talk to Jesus and everybody and have a good time, and, you know, end up being Chuckles McGee by the end of it, as far as making clients laugh and having a good time and all that, and which is, you know, why I'm good at what I do. But in that kind of setting, I don't present myself that way. When I explain myself, If I interject during the group, it is something that tries to have a little bit of laughter attached to it, because that's just my personality. Especially when you're dealing with things that are so serious, and it's a safe space in there. So if I want to cry, if I want to cuss, if I want to just unload, I mean, it's a support group, it's what you do. And there's other parents there doing the same. But they find that getting there is just half the battle. Thank you for coming, because it's a big step to be able to, you know, be in these groups. And mine meets twice a month. First one is for LGBTQ parents, and the second one is for trans parents. And I usually end up going to both. I missed the last one because it was my birthday and I had to work. But I went in there the first time not knowing what to expect. Didn't know how it was going to go. Really wanting to express myself and say how I feel and what's going on and all that stuff. I personally find smaller groups to be better, because I feel everyone can be heard. The bigger the group, I mean, just getting around the circle and doing your introductions and doing your little 2-minute of where you are right now and where your child is right now can turn into an hour, hour and a half because of depending on how many people you have. But I go to all anyway. I always learn something from it. There's people that you're going to gravitate toward, and then there's people that, you know, you just listen and support, and just like they're listening and supporting you. Everybody's situation is different but the same, because it doesn't matter what walk of life that you're from, where you are, what you're doing, how it's going, how much money you make, what kind of job you have. The overall stories are the same, whether it's the child that has had some like hospitalization issues, things like that. We've all had some, you know, level of that. And, you know, the overall thing is just to keep our kids alive and just, you know, what do we say, do, think, or feel to support them, all the new terms and things like that. And, you know, to some people it might seem just tedious, especially those that just don't understand. I find that the ones that don't understand usually end up getting pissed off at it, or are the loudest thumpers. I have a lot of people in my on my Facebook, personal Facebook, that you know, keep posting articles about the same theme over and over again about how pedophiles are going to take advantage of this bathroom bill and you know, want to creep on our kids, and so they keep showing pictures of men awfully dressed up as women going, oh, I want to be in the bathroom with your daughter, and you know, things like that. And one of the captions yesterday the person had put was, I'm going to continue to put these up there until they change the bill. And I just don't think people see the other side, which is why I make these videos, to help educate. And I've had a few people already come up to me and say, you know, I really didn't realize that side. I didn't understand it from that angle. And people don't understand it until they have somebody that they know and love in this situation. And not that my child is a situation, just that going through a transgender transformation journey is a situation, is something that is not dealt with in, I guess, what people would consider social norms, where in our life it is norm, in other people's lives it is norm, and it's becoming more of the norm. You know, anything that wants to buck social convention, from, you know, anybody's rights from the beginning of time until now, is going to piss people off, because nobody likes, there's not a lot of people out there that like change. They don't want to have to change what they're doing and how they're doing it. And, you know, one of the things I heard yesterday was that why would we have to change bathroom situations for one small group of people compared to the rest of the world? And it's not necessarily about that. It's about making sure that there's neutrality, which there's been neutral bathrooms. If you look at any Target, they have family-friendly bathrooms. I mean, it's no different than that. If somebody had an elderly parent that they were taking care of in a wheelchair and they had to go to the bathroom and out in public, and, you know, they want to be able to help their parent or help their disabled child, or somebody in a wheelchair that needs more room than just a regular, you know, bathroom. In any situation that comes up, but because of it being a trans issue now and becoming just this big thing, everybody wants to vilify, you know, any trans person, or, you know, stuff that's going on in society today. But anyway, back to my meetings. I have a couple of cards here that I wrote some things down. Fear of the unknown from the first meeting is what probably brought on my migraine. And it took me, because I had to travel 30 minutes to be able to go to this place in the city. And not that that's difficult, just that, you know, it was in the winter, so it was at night, and I don't really like doing that by myself. I did ask my husband to go. He told me no. But that was his prerogative. He did, you know, be careful and let me know if you need anything kind of thing, but, you know, when it came down to it, he didn't want to do that. It says, leaving the first 3 meetings emotionally, had a migraine and kept meds in the car, so that might be a little tip. It's just, I take specific medication for my migraines, so you might want to leave something in your car, so that when you're out you can just pop it real quick and move on down the road. I felt better in my support group because I'm not alone. that's just a general consensus. I'm not the only parent out there that's been going through what I go through, and it's just such a wealth of information. The only thing I had up until that point was, if anybody can find it on their Netflix, one of the things you should check out is Becoming Chaz, I believe it's called. I think it's Becoming Chaz. Anyway, it's Cher's son, Chaz Bono. And it really does start from when Chaz starts on their testosterone and goes through all of Chaz's, like how horrible the testosterone can be to start because it's such a beast, and the changes. One of the moms in my group put it one day. She says, when they start testosterone, they're going to be hungry, they're going to be horny, and they're going to be stinky. And, you know, we all had a giggle about that as far as that's concerned, to really simplify it like that. But they're not wrong. It's no different than a 13, 14-year-old pubescent boy puberty. It's just happening in your child right now. At least on my child's trans male side. Sorry, had a brain fart. I was reading as I was trying to figure that out, so my bad. Things I learned in group. The main person who supports a child needs to start using the trans name and the pronouns. Now, in my situation, I refer to my child as their trans name, Ray. I sometimes slip up and use what Ray refers to as their dead name. That's what they call it, as dead name, because to them that person is dead to them. Seems harsh, which is where the mourning comes in for the parents to actually have to hear that. Especially, there's some parents that are in my group that their children have been named after people, or their children have been, like, this woman has had 3 boys and finally got her daughter, and now she's mourning the loss that she's not going to have her daughter anymore. Those kinds of things are real, that people really don't think of until they're in it. And I remember crying. I cried on the phone to my facilitator. I cried. One lady in the group who, for my very first time, she said she had gone to a therapist, and the therapist had suggested them writing a letter to her daughter. And, basically just saying goodbye. And I just burst into tears. It was over after that. And I was like, I can't even think about that. I can't do that, I talked to the psychotherapist that had diagnosed my child with gender dysmorphia, and basically had said that was ludicrous because you're not losing your child. Your child's always been here. And so my thought really tried to change from that point was that my child has always been who they are. Whatever I saw was tomboy coming up, I realized was not tomboy, it was gender dysmorphia, or not gender dysmorphia, but boy, that my child was a boy, not a tomboy. But I'm past the mourning process. I'm past the scary thinking I'm going to lose my child type mentality. I refer to Ray as Ray, and instead of saying he so far, I say they and them, which is gender neutral. I am pretty consistent, especially with talking with my clients. I go into theys and thems pretty quickly. But it's definitely easier these days to do it, but I will slip up, and even if I slip up in front of Ray, I just apologize. But that's the big thing that you kids can understand too, if kids are watching this video. You need to have mercy for those people out there, including your parents, that they're not going to get it right all the time. They had so many years calling you a certain name and a certain gender. You've got to have mercy. You've got to, if they slip up, and apologize and say it's not a big deal. I don't do it to hurt my child. I do it because it was what I did for 19 years. But I'm getting better at it. It's, fake it till you make it. Keep on doing it until you can get it right. But back into support groups. Look into your local LGBTQ chapter. Google, trans support groups. For the kids, try to find a young adult trans group that you can identify with, and you can also do that through Google. If you have substance abuse, that's another thing too. With one of the things Ray went through was Narcotics Anonymous, and they only had gone to one meeting, but I thought, oh my gosh, that's perfect, because they'd already been hospitalized for a overdose when they were a senior in high school, and they never really dealt with why they did that at the time. So they're like, you need to go to NA a couple of times, and hopefully get a sponsor, and that's more meetings that you can go to, and they happen every single day. So if you just need to have an outlet and some place to go, AA or NA is a good place to go. And make sure that you screen any therapist that you are looking for, whether it's one for the parents. I prefer not to have a therapist at all. I prefer to do my group because I like to be around people that I know are feeling the same way I do. And sorry, but it's free. So yeah, that's my little tidbits for today. I don't want to make this too long because I keep making my videos longer and longer. So anyway, yeah, thanks for listening. Know that you're not alone. I'm here. I have, Ray keeps putting my email down there, so if you want to email me and ask me questions or just need some sage advice or some support, just let me know. You guys have a great day.